We are gathering around the table with Sean. He lives north of Detroit and he does the Lego Church project. I found you through Amber, the Religious Hippies podcast. I reached out. You're like, I'm always good for conversations. This could be the hardest question you're going to have to answer, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, the story of the Lego Church project is that I've got a mild premise for cerebral palsy. So I'm showing no matter what challenge or disability you face, God can still use your talents. And I'm a 47-year-old fellow that lives in Saginaw, Michigan, which is just north of Detroit. And I've been doing the Lego Church project for 26 years. So what I do is I build a parish of my own design, all off the top of my head, and then I build it, display it, and tear it down at the end of the season. So I talk about faith and disability, which is the things that I'm known for, and also a strong focus on prayer.
And what do you do when you tear it down? So you tear it down at the end of the year, and then what happens the next year?
I start the process all over again.
Wow.
So 26 years, 26 different churches that I
Oh,
have built.
different churches. Okay. That was going to be my question. Are they the same church?
Now, the design varies from year to year, but it's always a different church. So so people have seen my work before, especially online. They'll notice the similarities and they'll also notice the differences. So if you like compare a
Mm.
picture of season 23 to season 26, it's not going to be the same.
That's so cool. And like, take us back to the start of the beginning of the Lego project and your love for Legos too. Was it always there since you were a kid?
Always there. Growing up, my friends were great at building spaceships. I wasn't. So I started working on these rudimentary buildings, and then eventually they started getting more and more elaborate. Really, kind of two turning points for me was what became season one is when I did my first public display. I actually took it out of the house to a parish, to a church in Flushing, Michigan. I had a chance to show the people there; they loved it. Fast forward to 2003, I started doing what has become my longest running display at Christ the Good Shepherd Parish in Saginaw, which is my home parish. So every year around Advent time, I bring the project out. The people love it. They get excited when they know that it's coming and they want to see what I'm going to do next. So over the years, it has also transformed into this ministry where I get to talk about different things related to faith and disability and showing people what my life is like living with a disability, living with chronic challenges. And it is my prayer that I'm able to inspire and give people hope to those who may be struggling as well.
You talk a lot about your faith too. How has the Lego project affected your faith?
It has really allowed me to do a lot more praying. I often say it to people that when I'm building, I'm praying. I'm praying with my hands. I'm taking everything going on around me, whether it's in the issues with the church, issues within my own family, issues with myself. I lay it before the Lord as I'm working on the project. I can spend countless hours working on this at any given time. I can work on it for like 2 hours one day to 10 hours the next day. Each time I'm working on it, I'm kind of silently reflecting on what's going on, or I lose myself in the bricks. I completely lose myself. Kind of like when you're reading a good book and you lose track of time. And it is a chaotic process to build this start to finish. Because you got to figure, I've got about 30,000 Lego bricks inside here and at least over 300 minifigures sitting inside. There's a full interior in here. I think that's what kind of catches people by surprise. They see the outside of the building, but then they look in and see the inside. And then they realize, oh, wow, there's much more to this than meets the eye.
Yeah. I didn't know there was minifigures actually inside of it too. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So much detail
And
inside too.
I've even made minifigures based on people that I actually know.
I love that. That's so cool. And do you just want to tell us a little bit more about like what inspired you to start this 26 years ago, right? That's crazy. Long time.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I've been doing it since I was a kid, but what turned it into the childhood idea into something a little bit more profound was when I started doing the displays. Started taking this on the road. There was legitimate interest. I started doing the first couple interviews I started doing with the local paper. So things kind of developed from there and allowed me to build the platform that I currently have. It also allows me to explore the faith using the bricks, explore the beauty of the church that is often overlooked. And it also gives people across all faiths the chance to see this, to see what's going on, and may hopefully inspire them to at least start looking into the church and see what we have.
If you rebuild it every year, you've made 26 churches. That's correct.
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
finished this one just before Ash Wednesday.
Okay. And so how long does the process take you? That's how got to be weeks or months, right?
About 6 weeks, give or take.
Okay. And
What kind of depends on the overall time frame is number one, how much time do I have available? Number two, how complex is the design? Is there a lot of challenges with how I'm building it? Am I able to get all the parts that I need? Do I have any outstanding orders to Berkeley for that week? Which is an online Lego marketplace that I shop from quite frequently. I think I put in about 5 orders this year for this project alone.
and you mentioned challenges. What are some of the other challenges that you face when working on this project?
Well, the main challenges with the project are twofold. Number one, you've got the physical limitations of the Lego. You're working with a rather creative medium. Sometimes the design doesn't go according to plan. Sometimes parts tend to warp, shift, and you got to be very creative in getting everything lined up properly. These are not unexpected. There's always a challenge when you're trying to work on this. You're figuring 30,000 pieces, 80 pounds of Lego, give or take, on a plywood board. There's going to be some issues here and there. During transport of the project, windows can pop out or stuff like that. That's to be expected. The bigger challenge, though, sometimes is trying to find the parishes willing to invite me out. And the core issue with that is I don't drive and I don't charge money for this, but any parish that wants to have me out would have to provide the transportation and other accommodations depending on where they want me to come out to. Case in point, there was a church out in near Sterling Heights that invited me out. They sent someone up to come and grab me, and I had a beautiful afternoon sharing the faith through my own way.
It's so beautiful. I love how you get to have all those different experiences because I feel like there's a lot of good experiences that you've had through this project too in the last 26 years.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy interacting with people, talking about different things, answering different questions, especially from the kids. And in terms of who enjoys my work the most, it kind of varies. The kids will take a look at it. They see it's big, it's bright, it's colorful, it's Lego. They'll hover around it. They'll start looking inside. They'll start pointing out all the details, like especially if they see R2 hiding somewhere in there. The adults are a little more reflective. They see the church for what it is, and they see some of themselves sitting inside there. I've had more than one person comment, "Oh, that's where I'm sitting. Oh, that's where so and so sitting." That always kind of means a lot to me because I know that they're taking interest in what I'm doing, uh, and that's the joy of it. I've had people that have had disability come up to me and say that I've offered them hope. So there's certainly a spiritual reward in pushing through all this year after year.
And I'm looking there behind you at the cross. Is that actually lights? Is it there actually electricity in it, or is it just the way the sun's
Yeah,
reflecting?
there is two 100 count strands of Christmas tree lights, and this particular cross feature is one that I've been using for many years. I think season 5 was the first time I actually used the design, and then over the years, it's kind of developed to the current translucent yellow bricks, and it just stands out. If you see
Mm,
this in the dark, it just stands out. It is so beautiful to see.
yeah, it's got to be pretty at night too, like you said, with the cross shining and everything too. It's got to give a whole
There have been
new
more than there are
perspective.
more than enough times where if the project was here, it's early morning. I'm the only one in the apartment because my girlfriend's taking off for work or something. I'll shut off all the lights, turn the lights on here, and I'll spend time praying at the bricks.
That's awesome. I love that. So beautiful. What are some of the hardest parts? I know we kind of talked challenges, but is there any other hard parts that you want to mention?
Well, I think the hardest part is that when it comes to the displays themselves, that is one of the issues I talk about quite frequently, the frustrations, the challenges of trying to find parishes that are willing to host me. A lot of people don't fully understand what it is that I do. They see the project on the surface, but they don't realize that there's a lot more involved in it, nor do they take the time to learn. It's kind of the same way with people with disabilities in general in church. You have people that have a broad assumption as to what disability is and disability isn't. And one person's challenge may be a disability, but to someone else, they just consider it part of life. And that's part of the reason why I use challenge and disability interchangeably, because you never know what someone's facing. So in that respect, once I'm able to find a parish that's willing to host me, then things go relatively smoothly. They know what they're getting themselves into, they know what to expect, and people love it. Once I can find a few more displays for this one, and I'm looking forward to one of the parishes I'm visiting this year, I get to go back to a place that I've been to quite a few times, and I love coming out there. There's a parish up in Bay City called All Saints, and I'll be out there in mid-June. I'm also revisiting another parish out in Midland, Assumption, which I've been out to for a couple of years now. So I love it when I'm able to revisit a parish that I've been to before, but I'm also always looking for new parishes to visit. And if the transportation issues can be worked out, then I'm all for it. So you talk about the challenges and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The build is hard sell, but the real challenge comes into finding the right connections to allow me to share my talents that the Lord has given me.
And how do you find those connections? Is it just word of mouth? Because I know you also mentioned earlier, people don't like they don't really know what you do, and they don't like go to the links to learn what you do. So how do you like promote yourself or get your word out there?
A lot of it is focused on prayer. There's only so much that I can do. I can call a parish up, tell them who I am, tell them what I'm about, but ultimately it's their decision.
Mm-hmm.
I've had parishes that I called and they called me back saying, "I'm sorry, we're not interested." Okay. Two things make a good display. Number one is the location itself. Is there space for me to visit? I'm calling a lot of these churches that I've never been to before, so I don't know how their layout is. I don't know if they would have the actual space to be able to bring this out, let alone never mind the transportation issues. The other part of it is the attitude of the parish itself. If they're a very welcoming parish, then they will find a way to bring me out. They love what I'm doing. They've heard about me through the interviews I've done. They've seen my social media posts, so they know what to expect. Or they'll send someone out to wherever I have the project set up to see it for themselves and see if this is something they want to commit to. And I'm always happy to do that, to give people a chance to learn more about what I'm doing. So when you have the right kind of parish, the right fit, then everything goes very smoothly, which is why some of the parishes I revisit every couple of years go by very well because they know what they're getting themselves into. I mean, I think I started displaying at All Saints back in 2017 during the season 18 project, which coincidentally was the same year that Father/Casey was beatified.
How is it transporting that? Because it looks very big and you have to get transportation. So is it hard to get it from your house, your apartment to the church?
It kind of depends. Usually, we usually have access to a coffee cart and two people, usually myself. I can lift it, move it on the coffee cart. We can wheel it outside. It's no big deal. It sits on a plywood station, so and it's also screwed to the base plates are screwed to the board in two spots to keep it from shifting. I can tell you the horror stories of hearing the project sliding as we're driving down M46 one afternoon.
Did it break?
A little bit, but nothing out of the ordinary. 10-minute fix. I think the one disaster I had many years ago, they brought back the project and the one bell tower was smashed. It's like, okay, gather all the parts. Do I have them? Yep, I do. I can fix it. 10 minutes later. And that's just par for the course. Some people get a little bit nervous with the kids looking around it, but to be perfectly honest, this thing is overbuilt. It's designed to be able to handle transport. It's designed to handle kids that are going to have very aggressive fingers. There are some windows that are designed to pop out intentionally just because it's easier to repair a window than to repair a wall. Some windows are built double thick, so it's very difficult for them to do anything to it. I often joke that this thing's designed to withstand a cat. Fortunately, I actually had legitimate experience on that.
A cat? Really?
Yeah, I had a cat back up until season 16. Had her for about 10 years, and she jumped on the roof one time and put her paw right through one of the roof beams.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I got a lot of interesting stories about this.
I love it. I mean, you've been doing it for 26 years, right? Of course, you're going to have crazy
Oh
stories
yeah.
and all of that stuff.
Well, it's like some people are more nervous when something breaks on the project than I am. It's like, do I have all the parts? Yes. Okay, I can fix it.
Yeah.
I don't mean to have such a careless attitude, but it's like if I let everything worry me, I wouldn't be able to do anything.
True. That's a good point. We talked a lot about the challenges and the hardships, but I'm sure there's been a lot of opportunities and blessings that you've had while doing this project. Do you want to share some of that with us?
One of the things I really love about the project, it allows me to go out into the world, not just locally, but also online. I've had the privilege and blessing to be able to do a lot of programs over the years. where I can share some of the core beliefs that I have. I have a very strong emphasis on prayer. I'm a very prayerful person. I pray every day. Sometimes it's a little more structured, and most times it's not. But I think one of the important parts is that we take some time in our day to put everything before the Lord, to give us wisdom and understanding of what's going on around us, especially when things may not be going according to our plan. And just because we have a plan, sometimes that may not be what the direction the Lord wants us to travel in. I've had unique opportunities to take this project to different places that I never thought I'd get to visit. Last year, I got to visit a parish up in Standish, Michigan, which is about 45 minutes, give or take. The priest over there, Father Ron Wagner, wonderful man. He had been at our parish during a couple of years of my project, so he knew what I was about, and he really wanted me to come out. And I had a blast. I had a wonderful time visiting everyone over there. When I get to have people come up to me and tell me that their grandsons got cerebral palsy, and I may have given them inspiration, given them hope. I've run into people that have faced their own challenges, and they see themselves in the bricks. So there's always a lot of positive things that go on with what I do. And by the grace of God, I've been able to learn about what it means for me to be Catholic. Why is my faith important to me? What motivates me year after year? And one of the things I love taking part in is the Mass. When you don't drive, you have to rely on others to get to where you need to go. And our dioceses don't have a strong focus on making transportation options available. Partially because of insurance, partially because they don't realize the need exists. And that's one of the other things I've been able to talk about. I talk about transportation in the church all the time because it's something I have to contend with every so often. I'm blessed in most cases that I have someone that can give me a ride, but I know there are others out there who are struggling. There are others out there who may not realize that there are people that are willing to fight for them, advocate for them. I may have a ride to Mass most times, but I know because I know others don't, I use my platform to reach out and highlight the issue because I think it's one that's overlooked.
Yeah. And you have a platform to be able to do that. So that seems like a blessing too, to bring awareness, like you said.
Yeah.
What are some of the responses that you've gotten with this Lego project? It sounds like there's been a lot of positive ones, clearly. A lot of people are
Oh
inviting you
my
back.
gosh. My gosh. It's like, as I said, the kids just love it. They're
Yeah.
searching around, they're looking inside. They see the oddball things I throw in there just to get their attention, just to know that they're looking. The favorite game is where's R2 hiding? And usually I forget where I put them until the kids point out. True story. One time I had the project set up somewhere and a kid was looking around and with her grandmother, and right in front of the grandmother goes, "There's R2D2." Oh, I put them in there. Oh yeah, I did. I don't remember where I put them, but and of course you run into the adults. The
Mm.
adults, especially the seniors, they really love what I'm doing. I mean, and you have to figure. I mean, when I'm sitting next to this right now, but when you have this set up on a table somewhere, you walk in and it just stands out because it is the biggest thing in the room. It is like one of the biggest things, especially when you have the lights on.
Yeah.
Then you start seeing what it's about. And I've done holiday bazaars where I've made an appearance, and you get a lot of people come in and they're looking around, they're seeing what's going on. They see the cross that's on top of the roof, which is the same one that's in my profile picture, me holding it. That's a big piece. That is a focal point, and I get a lot of comments on that. Once again, I also get a comment on the Grand Cross. I think the biggest comment that I get though is that the church is full of people, and at least as far as the lower half goes to the project, all the pews are filled. The upper half, I'm slowly working on. I would say this project is 80% filled to capacity right now, but that is an act of prayer that more people would make the Mass a priority.
Mm.
It is something that in this current age we need. We need Christ and we need to take part in the Mass. We cannot survive in this world on our own. And that's why we have each other. That's why our parish communities should be the foundation of who we are. Should be the focal point that we can gather together, and then if something's going on, we can ask for prayers. I do that
Mm.
all the time. You got family members who are not feeling well; they're dealing with chronic issues. Sometimes you just gotta let them know that there are things going on, and we can pray for each other. I've had people come up to me asking for prayers, and I always do.
That's awesome. That's so beautiful. I love that. And you're doing this at 26 years of this. What kind of advice would you give to someone who has a dream to get it off the ground or is scared to share their art and their projects with the world?
The biggest thing is that if you're doing it for the service of the Lord, don't worry about what everyone else says. Don't worry. Some people are going to get critical just because of whatever reason. Don't let them get to you. The best advice I had is if you're looking to start doing something publicly, pray on. See where the Lord is directing you. See how the Lord wants you to, which direction the Lord wants you to travel in. That's kind of how things went with me. The Lord has taken me in some very interesting directions, both locally and online. And everything with me, with the project, everything is rooted in prayer. That is the core focus of what I do, and it shows in the passion that I have for the faith. And you have to have a passion for what you're doing. You have to be willing to deal with the frustrations that are going to come your way, whether you're a writer, a painter, or someone else. Whatever talent the Lord has given you, you're going to run into challenges and roadblocks, and it's going to make you wonder why you're doing this. And yet, by the grace of God, we're rewarded for that frustration in ways that we cannot always see right away.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your advice and sharing your projects and your passions and everything. If somebody wants to come and learn more about the Lego project and all of that stuff, where can they find you?
You can find me on Substack, praying at the bricks, or you can find me on the Facebook page, Lego Church Project. I'm also on Twitter under the same name, Lego Church Project.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, John, and we look forward to what you're going to be doing next.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks.